So last class we talked about parallel lines, perpendicular lines, and intersecting lines. So we saw that these are three examples of parallel lines because they are lines that never intersect or will never cross each other. Then we talked about how intersecting lines are lines that do intersect or do cross each other. Then we looked at perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are a type of intersecting lines such that when they intersect, they actually form right angles. Right angles are 90 degrees. And you can see in these pictures that the little square in the corner represents a 90-degree angle. So by class today, you should have finished this Desmos activity and noticed a couple things about the slopes of parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So you should have seen that the slopes of parallel lines are the same. So if you have one line whose slope is 2, the parallel line will also have a slope of 2. Perpendicular lines, there are two things special about the slopes. First is that they're reciprocals. So if you have 3 over 5, that means the perpendicular line will be 5 over 3. They're also opposite signs. There's one negative sign and one positive sign. So we're going to take a look at these lines, look at their slopes, and determine whether they're parallel or perpendicular. So you can see here, line A is y equals 3x plus 5. The slope here is 3 because it's next to x. Line B is in point slope form, and we know that the m is going to be next to the parentheses, so that's also 3. So if line A has a slope of 3 and line B has a slope of 3, these are parallel. For our next one, line A, you can see that the slope is 2. It's the number next to x. For this one, we actually will have to do some calculations. So if I use my formula, y2 minus y1, I get 1. x2 minus x1 is 2. Well, they're definitely not the same, so they can't be parallel. They are reciprocals. 2 we know is the same thing as 2 over 1. So 2 over 1 and 1 over 2 are flipped. However, they are not opposite signs. They're both positive. So this is actually neither. Both things need to be true for perpendicular. Here we only have one. Our next line, our slope A has a slope of 1 up 1 over, let's get in a little bit closer. Let's see. Starting here, we can go up 1 over 3. Our slope over here is negative 3. Okay, so they're definitely not the same, so they can't be parallel. I do know that 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. So check it out. 1 over 3, when you flip it, makes 3 over 1. And 1 is negative and 1 is positive. So these are perpendicular. Finally, we have y equals 4. So y equals 4 all by itself is a Hoy line, which means that the slope is 0. X equals negative 2. Well, if it's an x by itself, that's a Vux line. So that means our slope is the word that we don't say. So if you think about it, if you have a line that's going horizontally and a line that's going vertically, these would be perpendicular.